From Central Indiana's #1 news source, this is Fox 59 Tonight.
And we're back here on Fox 59 Tonight. I'm Cameron Ridle. We are in studio with Dr. Patrick Jones. He is the CEO of Exponential Prime, an opportunity for your kids to continue learning math year-round, and especially with some things coming up in the summer. By the way, did I mention Patrick is also an author? Some of these books are going to come in handy for the part of the conversation I'm going to ask now, because you have people like me, Patrick, who only used math when they need to. I only took the classes because they said I had to, because I went to school to talk and to do this. However, we all use math.
Yep.
If not, math's going to use you. And we are going to see, I think, people in this society now, in this world that we live in now, everybody's looking at their finances, because we're talking every day now about the stock market and your retirement and your student loans that apparently we're all about to start to have to repay, or they're going to collections or whatever, period. But our economy, our world, we elected a president. I don't mean to get too deep into politics, but we elected a president because we wanted a good economy, and we wanted more money in our pocket. And you can't understand money and the economy if you don't understand math. And so you could go through life learning as you go, but then there are consequences, because at some point you're going to fail because you just didn't know something, not because you weren't smart, because you didn't know. How do we let's take this all the way down to the closest level of home,
To the nitty gritty.
How do we make young people understand, including Black and brown students who you specifically work with in your programming? How do we make them understand how crucial math is to the success of all of those things?
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. How did it feel in math class when you were younger to be wrong?
Well, I don't like to be wrong at all, but it's not fun. And for me personally, I was always lost in math. So don't call on me. That's how I felt.
So here's what I'm going to say. We will have students who get A's in school come to our program on the weekends, the summers, and they will get a lot of problems wrong. We'll have people come to our competitions, straightest A's of math students in their school, and they will get a lot of problems wrong. Because we as humans have an obsession with being right all the time.
Okay.
And that's where the fear of math comes from. Because if you're doing problems that are actually worthy of your time, the likelihood of you being wrong is probably pretty high.
Okay.
Life is hard. There are no 99%, 100% in life. Nobody's getting them. I don't care what you say. Somebody can say, I got the best life ever. Yep. And you've had some hardships too. And that's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think it's the way we look at math. The way we look at math is we're going to give kids these problems. Say we're on the calculation-based math like you're talking about. We'll give kids these multiplication problems. So they're getting all these multiplication problems. They get 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%. And then they hit a word problem. And now I don't know what to do. And now I'm having a mental breakdown because there's a dissonance between who I thought I was and what showed up on this paper. There's a disconnect, right? And when you're talking about fear in math, and when you're talking about kids not having a good time in math, that's usually what we're seeing. There's a disconnect between who I think I am as a person and what I'm seeing on this paper. So I think the first step is we have to understand that when you get something wrong, it's just an opportunity to learn more. That's it. And that's taught at the parent level. And that's taught in everything. So if you're talking about entrepreneurship, you want to start your own business, how many times, you're an entrepreneur as well, how many times you've been wrong about something? I've hired the wrong people, had the wrong protocols, had the wrong applicants, had the wrong tax situation, and I had to learn and go back and correct it. So if you never learn to be wrong as a mathematician, then good luck on the rest of your endeavors. right? The other thing I would say is this starts with joy. It has to start with joy. I said it before. If you're playing a musical instrument, anybody out there play a musical instrument, play guitar, play saxophone, whatever, you know how many hours of practice it takes. If you're going to get good at anything, you have to put in the time to train. The problem with the time to train, though,
Mm-hmm.
is it's hard to put in time on training if you just dislike the thing that you're
Mm-hmm.
doing,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Which means somebody has to introduce you to the joy in the subject, right? I'm not talking about a song and dance or have somebody like doing cartwheels around. I mean, if anybody goes to our math circles, we're not doing all that.
Mm-hmm.
But what we are doing is making things interesting. A couple ways we do that, Cameron. One of the ways we do that is we always bring in games.
Okay.
Sometimes they're math games, sometimes they're just games. Because I believe games inherently are mathematical because they involve strategy, right? So we have this one game that's just a mat. It's a mat. It has shapes on it, it has arrows on it, and you have to find a way. It's like a maze. You have to find a way to get from one side of the mat to the other side of the mat without breaking any of the rules. Kids love it because they think they're doing the right thing. And I'm sitting there watching, I'm like, oh, can't make that move. And they're like, oh, I thought I had it. I'm gonna go back and do this other thing. They're not, in their mind, they're not doing any math, but they are using their minds.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
And that's what I was going to say. You're not necessarily teaching them, again, calculations. You are teaching them
Yeah.
logic in a lot of ways.
100%. Now, if you might need calculations to do some of the problems, right? But my response to that is, I mean, 2 squared is 4. It's always going to be 4.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give the parent a 2 squared, 2 cubed,
Mm-hmm.
2 whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to practice this with him at home or her at home because when they come back, they might see a problem with that in it, and I'm going to need them to know. But I'm not spending a whole bunch of time drilling kids on different calculation type problems
Mm-hmm.
because that's where I need the parent support on that. Now, a parent can do that because they can find what 2 squared is. Now, what a parent needs help on is how do I help train them on the thinking piece?
Mm-hmm.
How do I get them first class problem solving skills? And that's where I come in, right? And with that comes an opportunity to do a couple things. Comes an opportunity to introduce joy, to introduce games and play and all the things that are involved in math, and comes an opportunity to introduce how the math connects to the real world.
Well, that's okay. You lead me to my next question.
Yep.
Because you can go about things that math is fun, but what about
Now, I wouldn't say fun. I didn't use the word
okay,
fun.
okay,
I'm going to say interesting.
okay, interesting.
Let me give you an example. So one of our problems for our 3rd through 8th grade students, we give them a picture of a leaf and we say, find the area of that leaf. Now, the leaf is oddly shaped. Many kids know how to find the general area at that time, length times width, right? 2 dimensions, multiply them. What they don't know how to do is if that shape is odd, how do I find length times width? It's not a rectangle anymore. What do I do? So then the kids have to start playing around. They say, well, what if I make it a rectangle? Well, how are you going to do that? Well, what if I make it a whole bunch of rectangles, just small rectangles, and I can add up the area of all those rectangles? So then the kids start drawing on the leaf. They start making a way to find the area. The beauty of that is, 1, they thought about how they were going to solve the problem. 2, that's how calculus works. Calculus works on the premise that you can find the area of a space under a curve by separating the curve into tiny rectangles. And the smaller the rectangles are, the more accurate your measurement will become. That is the entire one of the entire premises of calculus, right? And a 3rd grader just did it through thinking, not through me teaching them how to do a calculus problem on the board, right?
So okay, so now you're talking calculus, and that was one of those. And do me a favor, Patrick, slide to your left just a little bit.
Okay.
There you go. There you go. Keep you in the frame.
Okay, keep me together.
When you start talking calculus and any of those other big classes, you lose me because, I still have never used the Pythagorean theorem and all these other things. So I'm not discrediting that. But I want to know what is your tactic? Someone who's like, I don't enjoy this. I do not find this interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for your effort, but I know that I need this in my life. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about Pythagorean theorem and stuff. I'm talking
Yeah.
about where just finances,
Yeah.
even just to start there. What would be your tactic to get somebody to understand um, that you might not find this interesting,
Mm-hmm.
but it is crucial to your life?
Yeah. So the issue is this never, like I said, I brought up calculus, but
Hmm.
remember, the crux of the problem wasn't calculus. It was about the leaf. But why was it about the leaf? The leaf takes in the energy. What's important about the leaf taking in energy? Well, it's because the tree has to live. But what else can we use that principle for? Solar panels. Well, what would happen if I wanted to replace my electric bill with solar panels? How much square footage would I need in solar panels to be able to replace the electricity in my house so I can invest that money in other places?
Hmm.
If I'm thinking about finances of my business, right? You own a business,
Hmm.
there's an accounting aspect to it. That's really just addition, subtraction, right? You're gonna write a couple formulas, so you multiply a couple things, right?
Hmm.
Maybe, right?
Hmm.
But really, it's how do I take this money and plan for this aspect of my business in the future,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So I'm gonna pay for a publicist
Hmm.
this year
Hmm.
so that I can generate this much business in the next 5 years.
Hmm.
And with that revenue, I'm going to invest in this so that my business can hit these milestones.
Hmm.
That's problem solving thinking,
Hmm.
AKA mathematics,
Hmm.
right? And so when people ask, like, well, we need to teach accounting, like, yeah, sure, there needs to be accountants and kids need to be accountants, but a good accountant is going to help you and help you understand not only how much money you have through assets and liabilities, but is also going to be a good counsel for you in terms of how to forecast,
Hmm.
in terms of how to set your business up for success in the future. And that's the type of math we want kids to be invested in, right? So when we talk about how do we make this real world, when we talk about true problem solving, we're not just talking about adding numbers and how much money you have. We're talking about how to get you rich for a long time.
Hmm. Hmm. You bring up the accounting portion, and yes, it is good to have people who know how to um, who know how to count. That's
Mm-hmm.
why you hire an accountant. But your point is that it's not your business is not just about accounting. It's knowing to hire an accountant. It's knowing to hire a publicist.
And
It's
how
the,
to manage
and how
that
to
accountant.
manage.
What
So
things should I be looking for?
mhm, it's the it's all of the logic and logistics
That's correct.
of the overall package, because your
Yeah.
problem solving stuff is what lets you know, okay, I can keep the books by myself, I can run the operations by myself, but there's a piece of this equation that I'm not good at or I need help with.
Mm-hmm.
Now I should reach out and get an accountant or a publicist or whatever it may be.
There's a great book called Not How, But Who,
Okay.
right? I can't be an expert in everything. And if I say for exponential prime, if I want exponential prime to scale, I have to understand how to build a team. I have to understand how to account for my business from a financial perspective in a different way if I want to serve more communities and more schools, right? That's problem solving, that's thinking, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I also understand that I can't be an expert in everything in
Mm-hmm.
regards to that, which means I have to understand what I'm looking for from a problem solving perspective and find the expertise in other people. I'm not a communications expert, not even close, right? So I have to find who is one. They said, go talk to Cameron Riddle,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I have to go talk to somebody who can help me get my message out because that's not my expertise. And that's okay
Mm-hmm.
because I got a friend who can help out with that,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so when I look at this, like, then we have to ask ourselves, well, where does it start? So it starts with the joy, it starts in the home, it starts with the parents, understanding that fear cannot be present when we're talking about this. And that means we can't have the fear of being wrong. If you're wrong about something, okay, oh, I didn't know that. Let's look it up. Then we have joy. Then we play games as a family in regards to that. But then it goes into the training, and the joy keeps you focused long enough to endure the training. If you talk, my son, he played baseball. He
Mm-hmm.
now wrestles, right? And some of his practices are brutal, but he loves wrestling. So he gets to tough through those practices,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's the same thing with math. Do I have enough joy to keep me going? Then after that, we need to talk about, well, where does your basic level proficiency need to meet? Well, that's I learn. right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we focus in on that's why we have the iLearn workbooks on our website, right? So you focus on the iLearn, right? So I can get basic level proficiency. But my thought is, and then what happens? Basic level proficiency ain't good enough.
Mm-hmm.
We got to go way past that.
I'm basic level proficiency.
Yeah. No, you're not.
Hey, with calculations and most things,
Yeah.
I am basic level.
But
Like what I'm saying
Mhm.
is what you're talking about
you
is getting
have your basic level proficiency,
yes,
and that's allowed you to go beyond.
yes. But what you're saying is I learn is the basic level
That
proficiency.
is absolutely correct.
And we teach
To the basic level
to the
proficiency.
yes, to the test.
Mm-hmm.
What you're talking about is okay because I got through the test. I don't ever want to see that again.
Mm-hmm. But
What
now
you're
you can do
talking
some
about is
other
beyond
things.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. And what I'm talking exactly. What I'm talking about is beyond that. So we produce an iLearn workbook because we want kids to be proficient because math is still a gateway. And then we say, then what happens after that? Right? The dirty little secret here is that like if our kids want to go to MIT, I looked up MIT and I looked at like what type of SAT score do you need to get into MIT, right? Well, MIT got a bunch of kids who have perfect math SAT scores. So what are they using? They're having kids take this test called the AMC 12. It's American Mathematics Competition 12,
Mm-hmm.
right? It boils down to the AMC 10. You're in 10th grade. And before that, it's the AMC 8. It's a middle school math competition test. Those math competitions pour into the US Math Olympiad. So I looked at how many black students are in the US Math Olympiad team. None, right? So we asked ourselves, who are the top engineers in this country? Who are the top mathematical minds in this country? Then we look at how we're represented. We look at how our communities are represented. And then we have to ask ourselves, why? Is it because our iLearn scores are low? Maybe. Another reason is because our kids aren't, even if they are proficient in iLearn and they're advanced in iLearn, they're not getting access to what's beyond that because that has become highly privatized, which is fine. I'm not against private enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is I'm going to create something so our kids can have it too.
Okay. We're almost out of time. If you have convinced some folks to get beyond, because actually this is the perfect time, like everybody's doing their testing and iLearn stuff right now.
Yep.
And so again, you have the people like me. Okay, I'm just taking the test and then I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
Take me on to the next thing. Let's talk about what you have coming up
Got
in
our
the
math
coming
circle,
weeks
May
and
17th.
and over summer.
Math Circle is May 17th. Math Circle is 2 hours, starts at 9 a.m. We will be at Rooted School, Indianapolis. And with the Math Circle, where we focus on competition problems first, we focus on a core problem of the day, and then we go into games. We play games for the rest of the time, and we enjoy each other's company. You're in a community of thinkers that are trying to solve problems. We have a math camp that's coming up June 2nd through June 5th. That is going to be hosted at the Path School. That's going to be open. The registration for that is going to be open on Monday. And we want grades K through 5 to participate in that camp. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Kids are going to learn about aviation. They're going to learn about robotics and not just like participate in robotics, but they'll learn about the history of aviation in some communities as well. But they're also going to be privy to competition problems and really be stretched and really do math that is hard because there are a lot of kids out there who are doing very well in their schools but they aren't challenged, and we're here to make sure that they also have an opportunity to be challenged. And we're also, Cameron, working on a documentary.
Okay.
So there's going to be news about that soon, but we want to partner with a community partner to be able to showcase that documentary to talk about math in our communities and particularly focused on our math competition that's in February.
So we've talked about some of your techniques, your training, your mastery, the creation. You call that the joy of problem solving. All
That's
this, of
right.
course, is on your website right now.
Mm-hmm.
But you also say math is for us.
Yeah.
Who are you talking to and why?
I'm talking about black folks. I'm talking about Latino folks. I'm talking about folks in urban communities who have been left behind, our white brothers and sisters. Everybody who has been left behind in this world where folks are creating off of their dreams and what they want for their communities, and then our communities have been left to say like, well, you may not get a great school. You may not get a great academic program. College may not be for you. That's who math is for. And I want to reiterate that point that math is for those people. All are welcome. We have white students, we have black students, we have Latino students, we have Asian students that come to our math competitions and our math circles, and their parents come too, and we're there being a community of thinkers together.
How can people get in touch with you?
Yep. You can hit me, Patrick at exponentialprime.com. You can find that on our website. We also have a contact page on our website. And I mean, you can find me on LinkedIn at Exponential Prime for IG, at Exponential Prime for X. I'm trying to think, Facebook. We're on Facebook. We're on all the socials. So come and hit us up. We love talking to folks online. We love folks who respond to our posts, and it's a great opportunity to be in conversation with folks about what's needed in our community in terms of high level math.
And we got your Facebook page up right there so people can
yes.
look for you.
And a couple of my talking speeches about math are on there. When I go and give speeches at conferences, I usually film them and put little snippets up there so that folks who weren't able to attend can hear what I have to say.
All right, Patrick, we thank you for your time and letting us know about Exponential Prime. And the reason why I wanted to have you on is because looked at your footprint. I'm like, wow, he's doing something, but I hadn't heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm glad you reached out.
Absolutely. Sometimes it is the people, and I don't mean this in a bad way. There are people who are loud and aren't really doing anything.
I don't know nothing about that.
But I am one of those people who does a lot of things quietly. And then sometimes it's like, well, why didn't everybody know about this? Well, because I just been working. And I feel like that's what you've been doing. And now in this season of growth for you, I want people to find out more of what you have here.
Well, I appreciate you amplifying the message. And I look forward to even continue partnership. No, he might be an MC at our next event or something.
Well, you know what? I do a lot of MCing, and we might be able to work something out with the schedule.
Let's talk about it.
Dr. Patrick Jones, the CEO of Exponential Prime, thank you for coming on Fox 59 tonight.
Appreciate you, Cameron.
All right, that's going to do it for us tonight on Fox 59. Now, coming up, it's the news at 10 and 11 right here on the app. We're back same time, same app, tomorrow night at 8. For now, if you are watching on YouTube, make sure you download the Smart TV app. And if you are watching on the Smart TV, subscribe to us on YouTube so you never miss anything that we're talking about here on Fox 59 tonight. Until our next show, good night.